Cool day. How are you folks doing today? Good. Good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Now we can have some people sit on my sacrificial box. Center seat, sorry. Oh man, yes, we'll talk about that more when we get to the volcano, okay, ma'am? Yeah. And as soon as everyone's seated, we'll be underway, sorry. Underwater's my last boat. That's all beneath us now. Behind us, sorry. Oh man. Don't worry, we'll get you off my sacrificial box.
A couple of us have never been on this attraction before.
How many of you is this your first time?
Those two.
Wow! Mine too. Look at that extended dog tour for everyone. Look, there's a pylon, a dock, my ex-girlfriend Annette, fuel oil, a trash can, but don't stare at my can too long. Visitors. We can't call them victims anymore, not after the incident.
These guests have probably been waiting
Oh,
about
man.
a half an hour, and they're probably wondering why this boat is coming in full. So we should probably just not make any eye contact.
So you don't need to just go bypass us.
I'm sorry, my brakes are really wet, okay?
I don't care if your brakes are wet.
Brittany, I thought we were family. Just don't please stop yelling at me.
You know what? I'm not going to make them get on this road.
It's okay, I'm pretty sick today. Oh, yeah. You know, Brittany's like my jungle mother. Clear.
Get out of here.
Bye, Brittany. Wave goodbye to Brittany. You don't ever see her again. You never saw her to begin with, so it doesn't really matter.
Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. I'm taking over, and I'm not nearly as funny as Jeff.
But for those of you who haven't been on it, please go visit it later today. You can see it's very hilarious.
Ask for Skipper Jack.
Yeah. Okay, so none of the funny stuff. Now we're back to business. So here on the sides of the bank, you can see we've got this lush jungle, right? I mean, it took us over a year to get these plants looking as thriving as they are now. There's over 600 different types of plants, and many of them are so exotic that we had to acquire special permission to introduce them into the landscape here. Yeah, and we try not to use pesticides whenever possible. So horticulture will release ladybugs, dragonflies, anything that they can reduce the amount of mosquitoes without using harsh chemicals. So they might have turned them off today because it's so cold. I know for some of you people up north, this is nothing. But here in Florida, we have about 2 solid weeks of winter, and we have misters that we have to turn off during this winter that we have because it will shock the plants. What the other thing they do is that they store space heater on the sides of the banks, and they'll cover them up with camouflage tarps. So I can't even point one out to you if I wanted to. But I mentioned that, real quick, who's a big fan of Hidden Mickeys? Hidden Mickeys, yeah? Okay, here on the canoes on the right-hand side, you see the horns there on the one closest to us? Look like Mickey's ears. And then the middle canoe looks like Donald, and then there we've got Goofy on the left. Okay, so we don't have live animals, but we still need a team to care for these mechanical figures. And this team is called Artist Prep. And Artist Prep will be in charge of painting, doing any kind of touch-up for our animals. And look over here at this gorilla there on the skipper's side of the boat. Do you see his back, how he's got that silverish gray back? Well, originally when we opened the attraction, he had a reddish-brown back. And now we were bringing so many animal experts on this attraction, and they were getting ready to open Animal Kingdom. And they kept seeing that gorilla, and they said, that doesn't look right. A gorilla of his size and age, he should have a silver back. So Artist Prep, they went in there, they did a refurbishment to that gorilla. Jeff, it didn't work.
I think it's very punny.
Fine. Let's see how it is. So also these elephants. Now they're doing those same repetitive movements for up to 8 hours a day, minimum 7 days a week, and so it's minimum 8 hours a day, always 7 days a week. So it's natural that they're going to get a rip or a tear in their skin. So Artist Prep Department has a technique called buttering. And what they do is they take a piece of silicone, they melt it over the torn area, and they paint it, blend it in so you'd never be able to tell that anything had happened. Now with live animals, we wouldn't be able to have a scene like this, of course. We also wouldn't be able to have the comical scenes that we have coming up on the right. Now look here on this tree, they're all getting chased see that a little bit later. And now even those campers up there, they have to get their costumes changed. So instead of having a big old ladder and changing them, there is a lever beneath that lowest gentleman's foot. They can click that lever and it will bend down the tree, and they can take off the costumes off the characters and then raise the tree back up. Yeah, it's much safer, right? So let's look out to the sides of the bank here. Yeah, look at that murky water, how cloudy, nasty it is. This water is actually so clean that we have to dye it. Using the waterfall, we mix in a water-soluble dye that keeps you from seeing that our water river here is only about 4 feet deep. And just when you think that we're left, and then go down, left. Oh, okay. So Jeff is not really steering the boat. Sorry. There's a trough underneath here. And there is a pylon underneath this one and the boiler. And this pylon extends down about 4 feet. It's got a tire on it that's free spinning, and it's going to guide him along. So he can focus on telling you jokes instead of having to worry about hitting these hippos. Now these hippos are special. They're a special type of hippo. They're called hippo bottomlesses. And that means that they don't have any legs or feet or tummies, just what you can see. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to hear it. You might have to come back on another visit, but we've got what we call an Easter egg. And an Easter egg is a little surprise that you wouldn't notice without me pointing it out. And this one is an audio Easter egg. Think we're going to hear it, Jeff? No, we're not going to hear it this time, but that's okay. Come back another time and listen for it. So the natives jump up on my side of the boat on your next visit. And they say, aka, laka, laka. And another one says, blah, 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 blah. The audio isn't working today, unfortunately. So they say, aka, laka, laka. And the other one says, blah, 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 blah. And then you hear a sphere, so it's swoosh, swoosh. And if you listen really closely, one of them will say, I love disco. We don't know why the Imagineers do that. We don't know. Maybe it was Diz for Disney, Quo for Company, maybe it was Disco Fever. But there's lots of little surprises like that we would have never noticed, but the Imagineers just had a little fun with it. Now we're heading into the kind of mysterious temple, and we reuse this architecture over in Animal Kingdom. So if you were to go into the Asia section, you can see this exact design. And as we go into it, Jeff, would you mind turning on the work lights for us, please? Thank you. So we turn on the work lights, so we'll be able to see a little bit more detail than what the typical guest would. It's usually very dark inside here. And you can see that even though it would be pitch black in here, the Imagineers still put in that extra work. As we come around the corner, look at all the intricacies on the pillars and up there by the ceiling. Just gorgeous work. And art is craft. Usually when they make a mold for an animal, they can reuse it. And so that animal will have twins, if you will. And that makes it easier if they need to replace the animal, then go take the other one back to be repaired. So these snakes here, we have twins over in the Indiana Jones scene of the great movie ride at Hollywood Studios. And the monkeys that are coming up, you can find them over in Epcot at the Living with the Land boat ride. Yeah. So they just reuse those molds. It's very efficient. And then if they need to, they can swap out that same animal and take the other one back to wherever they were working on it. Now as we keep moving forward, we're coming into my favorite scene. It's the elephant bathing pool. And this scene was created by Imagineer Mark Davis. And what's special about this scene is this is the first scene that was added in that started a transition from this attraction, from it being an educational experience to when they added in this one, it started to be kind of a funny, humorous attraction. And look at the elephant underneath the waterfall. That's Big Bertha, and she has a twin right behind you on the other side, and a strip right here over here on the side behind you. So if they needed to swap her out for some reason, they could easily take one of these elephants that's not as important to the scene. Now Jeff is coming up on a very important part of this attraction. Not only does Jeff have great comedic timing, but he's got great timing of this boat, because right now we're in what is called a squeeze play. And a squeeze play is where these elephants are popping up and pretending to spray the boat. Jeff, could they actually get the boat wet? Yes. Okay. Has your boat ever gotten wet?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So usually it'll happen if a skipper's in training, or if it's raining out and the sensors are kind of off, or if you just start laughing at his jokes. No, I'm just kidding. He wouldn't do that, probably. But another task that the skippers have is they have the animation wash. And the animation wash is a skipper will be assigned to go out in a paddle boat or waders, and they will scrub down the mechanical figures. If they didn't do that, those figures would get mold and mildew just kind of built up on them. Those elephants in the bathing pool would look like little chia pets. So it's very important. Now you might have seen they just moved one of the boats back into the maintenance area. It's right behind here, and we're going to get to see that from the other side when we get to one of our backstage locations. So let's give Jeff a big round of applause. Thank you. We're all going to get up in just a moment, head back out to where you see where it says the Oasis. Now when you're exiting off, please, no crossing over the crate, and then also watch your step. The skippers are there to help you if you need.
Thank you, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your day here at the Magic Kingdom. Now get out. Sorry, I was really rude. Please get out. Watch your step, watch your head as you exit. If you miss your step and hit your head, just lower your voice and watch your language. There's children everywhere. Come to think of it, we might actually be in a theme park or something. Thanks for that mandatory standing ovation. I know I did nothing, but I still deserve that. Oh, and a pity applause. You know what the pity when it comes from two people. Have a great day and the rest of your tour, folks.
Watch your head and watch your step.